Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
and Aušra Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as total organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 284 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Irineo. He writes, how can you detect the German, French, English spirit or accent in Bach's suites? There weren't so many different dances back then, so how can you tell? First of all, Aušra, we could also talk about other like German and Italian influences, right? In Bach's music in general, right?
Yes, because he sort of, synthesized all the influences from different countries.
But talking about the suites, the history with the name is kind of strange, right? English suites don't exhibit specifically English Baroque characteristic.
Right. Actually, I don't think we have so many in common with English dances at all. And I think this title was given later and not by G.S. Bach himself.
Mm-hmm. By Forkel, who was the first 19th century Bach's biographer. And he claimed that these works might have been composed for an English nobleman. But there is no evidence to back up this claim.
And in general, Bach suites and all those dances that, Bach suites contains were not intended as real dances. I mean, nobody intended to dance.
Mm-hmm. In earlier days, in 17th century, of course, they would be dancing on minuets and alemandas and courantas and sarabandas and jigs composed for the specific suite, right? But in Bach's style, they are so complex that probably they would be a little bit too complex to dance to.
Yes, I think so too. We are too elaborated.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think French and English suites, for example, very much differ from each other?
Yeah, in general, English suites are longer.
Yes, and they are considered to be more complex than French ones. So if you are working on the suites, you better start with French and then go on and play some English suites.
And also, probably Italian partitas could be part of that suite tradition too, from the first part of the Klavierübung.
Yes. But in any way, I would say that probably France was that country which dictates the fashions of dances. Because we were, in general, very famous for the dances and ballet too.
Right, and even the term was English suite, there were French spirit in it all over the composition.
I know, and if you would, look in general at how the suite is constructed, you would see that each suite actually consists of dances that come from various countries. Because if you would take like typical suite, it starts often, with Allemande, which is, I believe, came from Germany. And then Courant, which is, the French dance. And Sarabande,
Spanish.
yes. And, minuets, of course, is, French royalty dance. And jig, that comes from England.
Mm-hmm. So those four dances, Allemande, Courant, Sarabande, and jig, are kind of required, at least in later suite tradition in the 18th century, like when Bach was writing. But Bach would add, for example, in his English suites, prelude, as we say, minuets.
Gavottes too were often included.
Right. Rigodons, chaconnes, all kinds of other dances. And then the suite would become very long.
Yes.
What's interesting is that you could actually construct an entire suite based on just one figure-based formula. And it was written and described in Nietz musikalische Handleitung in 17th century source, that you take, let's say, a baseline of some keyboard composition, and you adapt it to fit the meter and even the structure of other dances. And remember, we sometimes improvised when we were students at Eastern Michigan University, when Pamela Reuter-Finstra taught us. And really, you could even take a hymn melody and you could create entire dance suite based on any hymn. Remember Vision leuchtet der Morgenstern by Buxtehude?
Yes, it has that jig at the end of it.
Or Buxtehude wrote another suite in E minor, sort of.
Auf meinen lieben Gott?
Auf meinen lieben Gott. This is also dance suite based on a chorale tune.
That's right. So in general, when playing suites, you need to analyze what kind of dance you are playing and what kind of meter it is, because meter and rhythm is basic ground for all the suites and for all dances.
And I sense a little bit of interest in Irineo's question about general stylistic elements, right? Maybe not necessarily in dances, but in general in Bach's music. What makes Bach's music a little bit French, Osha?
Ornamentation, of course, because all the ornaments that Bach has written should be performed following French tradition.
At least the latter part, when he was influenced by the French music more than Italian, right? It's an interesting tradition because when Bach, remember, traveled on foot to Lübeck to visit Buxtehude, he was influenced by North German style in that period, and North Germany was heavily influenced by Italians. So you would play ornaments from the main note, not from the upper note, in early Bach's compositions. Maybe up until Weimar, I would say, and even perhaps later, because in Weimar, remember, he would transcribe those Vivaldi concertos. It's still Italian.
Oh, in his own Italian concerto.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would play, his French overture, then of course you would have to
Basically, in his mature style, you would create ornaments in a French tradition, right?
That's right. And if you would follow his directions as educator, that he put for his son Wilhelm Friedemann in little keyboard book, all that ornamentation is written as it should be performed in French.
Right,
tradition.
from the table by Danglebert. And French overtures have this stylistic features in Bach works. A lot of suites start with overture, and even not only suites but other pieces like E flat major prelude for the organ.
Although French overture is always in 3/4 meter. But E flat major prelude is in 4/4 meter, so common meter. But still, there is French spirit in it.
What about Italian stylistic features in Bach work?
Well, you can find a lot of it as he constructs, the plan of, keys. It's very Italian. He often uses that, circle of fifths principle and sequences that are purely Italian.
Which he found probably transcribing Vivaldi concertos and concertos by other composers from Italy.
That's right.
And of course the ritornello structure.
Yes, if you would look at his cantatas, we are all based on the ritornellos. And also, if we go back to that famous E flat major prelude, it also has ritornellos throughout the piece.
So just in one piece, like E flat major prelude, you would have Italian elements, French elements, and of course the German elements, right? Because he was German.
That's right.
So in his style, especially mature style, Bach connected entire cultural heritage of Europe.
That's right.
Thank you guys for listening. We hope this was useful to you. Please send us more of the questions. We love helping you grow. This was Vidas
and Usha.
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, "The sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your SS courses and all your help."
Robert writes, "I found the fingerings, registration ideas and general comments to be excellent."
John writes, "I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you are there teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner. And I have committed to taking the time to get it right, as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor."
Robert writes, "It has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching."
Ron writes, "Hi Vidas and Usha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home and lucky that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this Ha Ha No Longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Usha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward.
Would you like to receive the same or even better results that our students are getting? If so, join them at organduo.lt/total-organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Usha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.